So a very good evening to you, and you're welcome to St Patrick's Park here in Westport. It's round 5 of the Mayo GA Senior Football League. We're a week out from the beginning of the County Senior Club Football Championship, and a week on, of course, from the All-Ireland final, Mayo's defeat to Tyrone. And for the next hour or so, all of the focus here on Mayo GA TV will be on St Patrick's Park. It is the meeting of Breaffy and Westport, a repeat of the 2020 County Senior Football semi-final between two teams who will be back out in action in the 2021 Championship next weekend. Just before the action gets underway, we're going to give you a quick check on the starting teams, beginning with Westport. And the joint managers, Martin Calvey and Martin Connolly, their team go into action this evening without the well-known county players Lee Keegan and Owen McLaughlin, both missing out this evening. And we make it 9 of this Westport team started the county semi-final defeat to Breaffy last year in the championship. Some very familiar names, some players who were togged in Croke Park last weekend, and also part of the Mayo squad, the extended squad during the season just ended. Rory Brickenden wears 6 for Westport, was on the bench for Mayo against Tyrone last weekend. Fionn McDonough wears 8. He partners Shane Scott in the centre of the field. Fionn, another member of the extended Mayo senior squad. While up front, the former Mayo fullback Kevin Kane wears 14. He's leads the Westport attack, with Killian Kilkelly top scorer for Westport in the senior championship last summer. He is picked at number 11 in what looks on paper a very exciting Westport forward line. Turning next to Breaffy and their manager Martin McIntyre, well, he sends out 7 of the team that started that aforementioned county semi-final last season. No Rob Henley or Matty Ruan, neither of those players togged this evening. They, of course, were in action with Mayo against Tyrone last weekend. Now, Aidan O'Shea is here, did take part in and is taking part in the warm-up with Breaffy at the moment. Still not sure if he will be part of their squad or not, but he's certainly going through the warm-up routine. The other O'Shea brothers, Connor and Shamey, they both start for Breaffy in the centre of the field. There are a few changes to the team that was initially picked for the programme purposes, but Connor O'Shea wearing 28 and Shamey O'Shea wearing 29 named to start now, while up front James Minogue wearing 24 comes in to the half forward line. Rory Martin wearing 21 also joins the Breaffy attack, and overall 7 of this team that played in the county semi-final last year. So Breaffy somewhat under strength heading into this round 5 Division 1B league encounter, and it's all very straightforward this evening. Breaffy top of Division 1B after 4 games. They're unbeaten so far. Westport, they're sitting in 3rd place coming into this final round game. They've won 2, drawn 1 and lost 1 of their 4 matches so far. Martin Carney alongside me on co-commentary duty. Martin, it's a fascinating game for so many reasons. I suppose foremost among them, the fact that both of these teams will be out in the championship again next weekend. Everybody wants to get a look to see what kind of form they're in, and also we're a week on from the All-Ireland final, and some of the players who were togged in Croke Park in action again this evening as well. So a chance for everybody maybe to get back on the horse again.
Very much so. Like, when you look at it, Mike, you know, when you're talking about players who were togged last weekend, you know, Conor O'Shea's playing in midfield today. I know Aidan out there, but he won't start obviously, or in fact won't come on, but he's out actually taking the warm-up for Breaffy. But on the other team then, like, I mean, on Westport, so McDonough is at midfield. His shall we say, contest with Conor O'Shea is one I'm looking forward to. Now, I don't think he was togged last weekend. I think actually we were having a moment's silence at the moment, maybe for the death, to commemorate the memory of Paddy Muldoon.
So as Martin said, that moment silence in memory of the late Paddy Muldoon, a man who was synonymous with Westport GA Club and indeed Mayo GA as well for many, many years, passed away recently, and this is the first senior outing that Westport have had since Paddy's passing, and his memory very much in our thoughts this evening. So it is Westport and Breaffy a week out from the start of the Mayo Senior Club Football Championship. Breaffy, their first game is at home to the Neil next Sunday at 2 o'clock. They'll be hoping to hit the ground running. Beaten county finalists, of course, last year. Breaffy pipped by Knockmore on county final day. Westport, well, they begin their championship here on home ground against Ballahadreen next Sunday afternoon at 3:30. A meeting of two teams who have genuine aspirations of having a long run in this year's club championship, and perhaps, maybe, just maybe, go all the way to Moclair Cup glory. So it's Westport playing in the navy jerseys. They'll play in this opening half from right to left, down towards the goal away to our left hand side. As you can see, the O'Shea brothers are partnered in the centre of the field for Breaffy, and our referee Cormac Reap from Knockmore gets the action underway. Martin, Breaffy sitting on top of the table coming into this game. They're nearly there, but they still need to get the win to make absolutely sure.
Yeah, very much so. And again, just today, I think there might be a little bit kind of short-change insofar as the likes of Tommy Riley isn't playing, nor Aidan O'Shea, so it might actually just inhibit their forward line somewhat.
Well, there's the first shot in anger from Colm Flynn. Just came off the outside of his right boot, and it drops well away from the Westport target, but he's a player we'll, I'm sure, hear an awful lot more of and about over the course of the next hour or so. He's been filling his boots for Breaffy really in their 4 matches so far, their leading scorer by some distance. Here's Seamie O'Shea. A little bit of a surprise to see him start this evening. By his own admission, he's not quite fully match fit just yet. Loses possession on that first involvement. Fionn McDonough gives it back as far as Conor Calvey, and that is a really good start for Westport. The turnover forced by Fionn McDonough and company, and Conor Calvey, one of the young players who's graduated through this very impressive Westport underage academy, has the distinction of kicking the opening score.
Yeah, very clever pass actually that time from Fionn McDonough. Calvey got the ball on his right foot, curled it in from the outside, and a beautiful score. Excellent opening for Westport.
So the Breaffy goalkeeper Jack Livingston with the first kick out. Possession won by Westport, fed through to Killian Kilkelly, and Killian Kilkelly kicks a terrific score on the run, and Westport ease into a 2-point lead. Well, his father Brian is among the attendance here at St Patrick's Park this evening. Played for Mayo in the 1989 championship when Mayo went all the way to an All-Ireland final, and Killian Kilkelly, who was in such outstanding form in the club championship last season, has just doubled the Westport advantage as Jack Livingston hits a poor kick out really. It's put Breaffy under all sorts of pressure. Steaming through here for Westport was Brickenden. That's Kevin Kane, and that is point number 3. Well, this is some start by Westport. We've played just over 2 minutes.
Excellent start, Mike. Very poor kickouts actually from Jack Livingstone and the Breaffy goals. Breaffy are playing into a strong wind, all right, but at the same time, balls that have come out, Westport have won the breaks, transfer the ball very quickly forward, and 3 excellent scores from Calvey, Kilkenny and Kane to settle Westport down.
So 3 points, all from play, and Westport up and running. They ran up a huge score last time out a couple of weeks ago in the league against Kiltane, put 6-19 on the board. Needed to bounce back really after getting turned over here by Castlebar Mitchells in a very disappointing performance, but much better against Kiltane, and they have picked up where they left off here in the first few minutes, but still very early days as Fionn McDonough is put under pressure by James Minogue. McDonough fouled. Cormac Reap gives him the benefit of the doubt. Kevin Kane tussling for the first time with Mark Dervin. Kane very much the master, and Dervin still learning his trade as a fullback, but did well in that first individual tussle. Quick hands by Breaffy. Conor O'Shea to Robbie Fadden. He's wearing 9 but playing in the half forward line. Pops it across to the wing back Darren Moran, who'd come forward in support. There's a lot of movement inside in the Breaffy attack. They're trying to empty it out almost, create space in front of the Westport goal, but Westport apply the pressure on the ball carrier, so Breaffy have to try a slightly different tack. Nice quick exchange of passes. That's Rory Martin with the shot, comes back off the post. First man to react is a Breaffy man, that's Paul McDermott. Runs into 2 or 3 Westport defenders, and first man to react to the break was Niall McManaman.
Yeah, good defending actually that time from Westport. Swarmed around the breaking ball coming off the post, and again counter-attacking now with purpose.
Killian Kilkelly, nice ball, rolls it in low in front of Alan Kennedy. Well cut out back there by Oisin Tunney, outstanding Mayo minor a couple of years ago. Very much one to watch when it comes to young up and coming Mayo defenders, as Breaffy transition the ball quickly out towards halfway. Still looking for their first score. We're in the 5th minute of the first half. You're watching Division 1B of the Mayo Senior Football League, coming to you live from St Patrick's Park here in Westport on Mayo GA TV. Shamie O'Shea down the line towards Garrett Dunn. Gets there just in front of Keelan Dever. Support from Porrick Byrne initially, and that's Shamie O'Shea with a poor hand pass. Still a little ring rusty, the former Mayo midfielder, as Kevin Kane drifts out from full forward. Now Shane Scott, lovely ball in towards Alan Kennedy, who was just deceived by the bounce, and it'll run all the way through to Jack Livingston in the Breaffy goal again. Breaffy, though, finding it difficult, Martin, in these first few minutes to break Westport down.
Very much so. I thought a couple of moments ago the two O'Shea's combined very well with Robert Fadden, but their attack ended up actually with the ball coming off the post. Maybe a little bit unlucky for Rory Martin, but we've noticed actually with the benefit of the win, Westport are transferring the ball long and actually getting a lot of purchase inside.
So another raid here from Breaffy. Garrett Dunn did well. Initial burst was made by Dylan Cannon, who's continued the run. Heavy hit on Paul McDermott. Just a little slow getting back up to his feet again. This time it's Breaffy's turn to apply the pressure. Here's Paul McDermott. Snatches at the shot. And Paddy O'Malley decides, it looked like he was trying to keep it in play, but ball had already gone out over the end line. Paddy O'Malley, a member of the Westport team that started that famous All-Ireland intermediate final win up at Croke Park back in 2017. He's since gone in and gone on to play inter-county football with Roscommon, and his restart sets Westport away again, and that was Niall McManaman that made the initial burst. Now Kevin Kane, again, he's such a big, strong target man. Plenty of options outside. Ball floated in towards Colm Moran. Referee has his hand in the air to signal the advantage. Colm Moran turns, shoots, and that is a really, really good score. Well, Colm Moran has been in and out of Mayo squads over the last few seasons. It's easy to see why. And Westport lead 4 points to no score.
Yeah, lovely score from Colm Moran, but noticeable, Mike, already that Kevin Kane at full forward is the target man for a lot of the possession outfield. That's a very, very well taken score coming through Kevin Kane.
Well, that now means after 7 minutes here in Westport, 4 of the home side's forward line have scored, all from play, and they lead 4 points to no score against the Division 1B league leaders, as Rory Brickenden strolls out onto this ball. Such an elegant footballer, lovely ball up to Fionn McDonough. Just glides by Shamie O'Shea, but that was a good challenge by Conor O'Shea. Just did enough to knock McDonough off his stride, took the sting out of the shot, and Breaffy will build from the back through Robbie Fadden. They've got round about half of the team that started the county final defeat to Knockmore, and so far they're struggling to get to the pitch and the pace of the game, as Colm Moran gets out in front, calls the offensive mark, got there in front of Dylan Cannon. Chance for Colm Moran to hit his second, and that has sliced across the face of goal and wide, but it's been all Westport so far.
All Westport so far, and again a lot of Breaffy's problems are being created by their own shall we say poor play, like a lot of misplaced passes already, turnover ball. But I think again, looking at the way Westport are set up, a lot of ball is going to go through Kevin Kane at full forward, and already he has marked Dervin under a lot of pressure.
In case you've just joined us, just a reminder, Breaffy lining out this evening without Rob Henley and Matty Ruan. Neither of the county players tagged this evening. While Aidan O'Shea is here, he is tagged, but not quite sure if he'll see game time or not. While on the Westport side, no Lee Keegan or Owen McLaughlin in action for the home side. That's Colm Flynn, and that's much better from Breaffy. Well, we mentioned earlier he's their leading light in the forward line, Colm Flynn. He has been in prolific form from frees and open play over recent weeks as Breaffy went to the top of Division 1B, and that's a really good score. It comes here in the 9th minute, and it means it's now 4 points to 1 as Breaffy attack again. Garrett Dunn looking to get away from Keelan Dever. Easier said than done. Now Shamey O'Shea winds up from that trademark angle, and Shamey O'Shea with a brilliant score. Well, he's always good for one, and Shamey O'Shea has opened his account here after 10 minutes.
Yeah, very good score from Shamey. Again, difficult angle, kicking into the wind from the right wing. Made the most of the hard work I think that Colin Flynn did before him. Good score, good response from Breaffy.
Much better from Breaffy. 2 in a row for them. Double scores, Westport lead. Cormac Reap, the referee, signals a push in the back. That was on Pádraig Byrne, the young Breaffy wing back. And this presents Colin Flynn with a chance to eat into the deficit. Now, he's going to go short. Couple of options for him. He elects to try and pick out Rory Martin. He's being chased by Brian McDermott.
Yeah, Rory Martin actually and Colin Flynn are interchanging positions in the full forward line and combining quite well, actually.
Sideline ball taken short. Paul McDermott. Arm looked to be held initially. Cormac Reap lets it develop, and Breaffy do get the free second time round. So Colin Flynn will get another chance. You can just see him weighing up his options. Angle is a little tight for him. He is a right-footed kicker. He's been a huge addition to Breaffy since he transferred a couple of years ago. Was instrumental in helping them to reach last year's county final. Hit 7 points actually against Westport in the county semi-final. Somebody switches off in the Westport defence. Flynn to James Minogue, and that was too easy from a Westport perspective, too easy for Breaffy, and all of a sudden that 4-point Westport lead has been almost completely wiped out. It's now 4-3.
That's right, in the space of 2 minutes Breaffy were given a present that time. Westport totally switched off, and James Flynn, shall we say, made the most of their generosity.
So 4 points to 3. It's Shane Scott, another of the survivors from that All-Ireland intermediate final win, gets on the ball. Shamey O'Shea trying to stand him up. Scott is a real old school midfielder, does a lot of the heavy lifting. Killian Kilkelly, lovely ball, so good off left and right foot. Kevin Kane is again the moving target. Kane back to Scott, and Scott to Brickenden. And Westport recycle that ball and start from scratch once more. Ball back in the hands of Shane Scott. Breaffy are in their defensive shell. Killian Kilkelly unable to make that stick. Won instead by Pádraig Byrne, and away goes Robbie Fadden. We're 12 minutes into the first half. Paul McDermott trying to roll out of the tackle. James Minogue, again, he takes up a good position, and there is the equaliser. Well, it's taken them about 5 minutes to wipe out the Westport advantage, and 4 points without reply from Breaffy leave us deadlocked, 4 points apiece.
Yeah, that's beautiful football from Breaffy. Again, James Minogue got on the end of that move, but some great approach play. I like the way, for example, Paul McDermott continues to come into the play and link it up, but Minogue on the left foot that time just stroked it over delightfully.
Paddy O'Malley, precise with the kick out, finds Killian Kilkelly. Cormac Reap gives him the free. Rushed it a little, but Fionn McDonough does well. Caught with a stray hand of Colm Kelly there. Just Kelly having his name noted by Cormac Reap. Fionn McDonough will take the free. We saw so little of Fionn McDonough for club or county in recent times. Great to see him back in action again. He's had quite a few injury problems on and off, but looks to be moving nicely so far as Killian Kilkelly sprays it all the way across to Brickenden. Inside towards Alan Kennedy. Beats the cornerback Oisín Tunney to the punch. Kennedy spins and shoots, and that's another fantastic score, this time from Alan Kennedy, and that now means that 5 of the Westport starting 6 forwards have scored, and the home side are back in front.
Yeah, but the creator of that was Killian Kilkelly, a beautifully flighted crossfield ball to Brickenden, who fed then, I think it was Kennedy, and stroked the ball over the bar. There've been wonderful scores in this game, all from play, Mike.
So Pat Lambert, the only odd man out so far in the Westport forward line in terms of scores on the board, but he's filling a slightly different role. Colm Kelly there took a fair chunk of steps. Referee gives him the advantage. Here's Kelly again, bottled up very quickly. Man putting on the pressure was Luke Tunney. Cormac Reap blows his whistle. Felt the challenge on Breaffy's Paul McDermott was just a little high. And James Minogue is the man with the ball in his hand. Happy to go backwards in order to allow Breaffy to come forwards. Conor O'Shea, another of the Mayo substitutes who togged in Croke Park last weekend, looking to weave his way past Keelan Dever. Support from Porrick Byrne. Well, somebody stepped aside. That creates the opening, and Porrick Byrne powers through and fires over the equaliser. Really good score from Breaffy and Porrick Byrne.
Yeah, patient work by Breaffy. That time recycling the ball, going backwards with it. Conor O'Shea gave the ball to Porrick Byrne, and again, delightfully stroked over. Brilliant score for Breaffy. That's 10 scores of the highest order we've seen.
It really is, and the team's level for the second time. All of this, of course, an appetiser, a warm-up ahead of the start of the club championship next weekend, and both teams moving well. There's Shane Scott. Well, he's tried to kick it out of the ground and he's given it plenty of oomph, but it's flown away to the left and wide.
Yeah, I think we might be having our water break now, are we? Yes.
Yeah, Cormac Reap, the referee, I think happy enough with the first 15 minutes, and right on the quarter-hour mark signals for the first water break. We see Shamie O'Shea in our picture there just jogging across. I think you won't mind us saying, Martin, he's probably happy enough to hear that whistle. He's missed a lot of football. He's still getting back up to top speed and happy enough to get the chance to take a breather.
He's playing very well. He's squeezing a little bit, all right, and once or twice he came over close to us. But he and Conor, though, are setting up a lovely platform for Breaffy in the middle of the field. Equally, I'm delighted to see Sean McDonough actually impressing quite well. But the tactic that Westport are using repeatedly, they're getting the ball quickly through to Kevin Kane, and he's been a very effective target man for them. Killian Kilkelly also, I've enjoyed his little subtleties in contrast to the other forwards. But overall, it's a game of very, very high standard, wonderful scores, all from play, and highly enjoyable.
There you can see in the centre of your picture Martin Connolly, the former Mayo footballer. He's a joint manager of Westport this season again, alongside Martin Calvey, and they really do make a really good partnership. Kieran Gerrity, Tom Reynolds, Joe Dawson and Danny O'Toole also involved in the backroom team. You'll see there as well in the dugout, Ben Doyle is among the Westport subs this evening, as is Mark Moran. Neither of them fit enough to start, but two young players who are both part of the Mayo squad, Martin, and have been this season. And I know a lot of people would only love to see Mark Moran in particular
Mark
back
Moran
on the field again.
I'd love to see playing. I remember the last time I saw him playing actually was in Tuam against Galway, I think in a National League game last year, and he gave an exhibition of football from centre half forward, prompting others around him, bringing everyone else into play. And he's a player that Mayo, I think, would really benefit from if he was able to come back soon.
He's another young forward that's had his injury issues, but is togged, and who knows, we may well see him before the evening's out. Away we go again. Teams level here at St Patrick's Park, 5 points apiece. Breaffy sitting on top of the table, unbeaten after the previous 4 rounds. Perfectly unblemished record so far. They've beaten Kilshamagh, Ballintubber, Castlebar Mitchells and Kiltane. Westport, well, they're in 3rd place in the league table coming into this game, and I'm sure quite a few Breaffy and Westport supporters with one ear on events over in Castlebar this evening. The Mitchells taking on Kiltane, because a win for Westport here and a win for Mitchells over at Josie Munley Park, and all of a sudden things get very, very tight at the top of Division 1B as Kevin Kane again gets out in front. So much experience, lays it off nicely, and that's a beautiful score created by Kane and finished with one swing of Luke Tunney's left foot. Westport lead again, 6-5.
Yes, familiar route to score. Get it through to Kane. Kane will feed everybody else, and that time Luke Tunney came up in support. Very well flighted point.
So 11 points in the game so far, all from open play. Certainly everybody here getting their money's worth, as James Minogue feeds Shamie O'Shea on the burst. Shot dropped short, gathered by Paddy O'Malley. This is where Westport are so dangerous, their ability to counter-attack quickly. Fionn McDonough takes a toe tap, support from Shane Scott. Scott waits patiently for somebody to make a move, and now has the ball back in his hands again. Big strong man just threw was it Conor O'Shea or perhaps Shamey out of his way? Conor, in fact, it was there that Shane Scott made short work of. Now Shamey O'Shea to Pádraig Byrne, and Byrne, who looks very lively, he's already kicked one lovely score, sprays it across to the far side to Darragh Moran, hunting along that left wing, trying to wrong foot Luke Tunney. Moran still going, and now he's inside the 20-metre line as Breaffy make ground over on the left-hand side. Colm Flynn drifts out from full forward once more. Minogue, and he'll go back to Conor O'Shea. Westport have withdrawn 13, I make it 12 in fact. 12 players back inside their own half. Good solid shoulder. Well, perhaps it wasn't quite as fair and square as it looked from here. Cormac Reap has blown the whistle. Perhaps he was playing an advantage anyway. In any event, Breaffy get the free.
Yeah, I think Conor O'Shea had his arm pulled as he was executing that pass, and I think that's what the call was for.
Free taken short and quickly, beaten away by a Westport fist. And Colm Kelly will try again. Fadden makes his move, just drifts down that right hand side. Niall McManaman comes across. Now Colm Flynn eyes up the goal, kicks it off his left foot. Gary Owen style, it drops on the edge of the Westport square, and Luke Tunney has time to take it down, move it clear and find Paul Lambert. Nice ball right here in front of us. Picks out the wing forward Conor Calvey, who just dashes past. He was looking to find Colm Moran inside, but Moran just made a step to the other direction. Pass was delivered behind him, and Breaffy will try and engineer something initially on the right, and now they go down the centre. Shamey O'Shea, retired from senior inter-county football at the end of last season. His brother Conor on the ball now, reinstated to the Mayo squad for 2021. Drives through, big strong man, tries to sell the dummy to Tunney, steps away from Lambert, and that is an exquisite piece of play and finish by Conor O'Shea.
That's the score of the game, Mike, to be honest about it. He took on two players that time. He was able to withstand 2 or 3 tackles, and again got onto his, what shall we call, weaker left foot, and fired a wonderful score.
So the team's level for the third time. Conor O'Shea, such a skillful and talented young footballer, can kick equally comfortably off either side, and that one off his left a moment ago, worth waiting for. Right now he's just trying to get his breath back. Just picked up a bang there in that last passage of play. We're in the 22nd minute here at St Patrick's Park as Killian Kilkelly goes long. Kane makes his move, steps out of the way for Colm Moran. Lovely ball to Brian O'Malley. Oh, that's a great goal. Terrific finish from Brian McDermott. Well, he came like a train on the outside to take the pass from Colm Moran in his stride, and he drove it like a bullet past Jack Livingston and into the back of the net. The first goal comes in the 22nd minute. It comes from the Westport cornerback Brian McDermott, and they lead 1-6.
Yeah, but what you have to applaud there is the quality, the deftness, the subtlety of the pass that Colm Moran gave in order to kind of create the opening. But again, the emphatic finish into the roof of the net was a worthy ending to a beautiful piece of football.
Well, he's a really good footballer, Brian McDermott. Probably doesn't get the credit a lot of the time he deserves. Inspirational when Westport won that All-Ireland intermediate title 4 years ago. And his goal so far has proven to be the game-breaker score. And worth pointing out as well, coming into this game this evening, in their previous 4 games in 1B, Breaffy had conceded just 1 goal. They'd kept 3 clean sheets, and they had proven extremely hard to break down, but it was a lovely piece of play that opened up the chance for McDermott, and his finish was as good as you'll get anywhere as Kevin Kane weaves his way through. What about that? Yeah. Selling dummies like they're going out of fashion, and Kevin Kane knocks over his second point of the evening. Well, for a big man, he's got great footwork.
Yeah, he's been very influential, Mike. So many things have gone through him. Even the goal that came a couple of moments ago, the ball went down initially in his direction. He managed to break it away from himself, I think, to Colm Moran. Moran then fed McDermott, and the rest was just the roof of the net.
Well, I make that now 1-7, all of Westport's tally from open play. But just to go back, Martin, to the Brian McDermott goal, when you consider Breaffy, 3 clean sheets, 1 goal conceded in 4 matches, the way Westport opened them up and the way McDermott finished, it was It was a joy to behold, really.
It's beautiful. But there's beautiful football. There's a lot of direct football from both sides. They're using the kick pass quite a bit and moving it into the danger area quickly, and it makes the game so much more enjoyable to watch.
So many of these Westport forwards, of course, equally adept at filling the role of playmaker as well as finishing. And Colm Moran, well, he'll be very happy with the pass he picked out for McDermott. Could easily have taken his own score, but unselfish play. And here they come again. Paul Lambert just tosses it over as far as Scott. Lambert again looking for the run inside of Fionn McDonough, but he just put a little too much on the pass. But they're constantly moving and rotating and looking for pockets of space, and that Breaffy backline working overtime.
Yeah, and interesting watching Fionn McDonough today. I'm keen to see him see how he plays. He's been very, very, very impressive last year, maybe early in the league this year for the county team. But today he'll be trying to make a statement and show people, out there watching this, that he's somebody they should be in the reckoning for a starting place in the county from next year.
So 4 points between the teams. Westport setting the pace, looking to rack up their third win of the league, looking to set themselves up nicely for that first round championship game here against Ballahadreen next Sunday. And so far they're making quite a good job of work of it. That was Kevin Kane again looking for the runner. Kane was being fouled. Well, he's quite the character, Kevin Kane. It's 9 years ago now since he played for Mayo in an All-Ireland final at full back, but he's been re-engineered as a full forward by Westport in these last few seasons, and he is a real handful.
He's a handful, and you've a deadly duo in there at the moment between himself and Colm Moran. They play very well together. Obviously a lot of the ball is flighted in Kane's direction because of his physique, but Moran benefits from a lot of the ball to him, but they're very, very good in dovetailing with each other.
Well, that was Alan Kennedy. That's his second point of the match, his first from a free. In fact, it's the first score we've had in the game from a free. So we'd watched a goal and 13 from open play in 25 minutes of action, so we can't complain. And that free from Alan Kennedy pushes Westport into a 5-point lead. And once again, Martin McIntyre's Breaffy team find themselves in a tight corner. That ball runs through as far as Gareth Dunn. Very skillful corner forward. Being forced though further and further away from the Westport goal. And Dara Moran likewise. Dara Moran closed down by a couple of Westport defenders. Good pressure applauded by Martin Calvey. Breaffy having to dig deep into their box of tricks just to try and break down this Westport backline. If they delay that initial pass, it allows Westport time to get set, and they're also operating with a sweeper. Conor Calvey it is who's sitting in front of the full back line as Colm Flynn plays a quick 1-2 at Rory Martin. Now Fadden, Pádraig Byrne. This is James Minogue trying to turn onto that left foot. Ball recycled back as far as Oisín Tunney into the centre to Colm Kelly as Breaffy take another little nibble on the edge of that defensive screen. Conor O'Shea. They're having to be very patient, last year's beaten county finalists. In fact, they've lost 2 of the last 3 county senior finals, still looking to win their first ever Moncler Cup. Breaffy, Shamie O'Shea drops it in front of Rob Fadden. You could see what he was thinking, and it wasn't too far away.
It was beautifully flighted pass, actually, just maybe a little bit too much weight in it, but there was good patience that time from Breaffy. There was a lot of poise in what they were doing, but the end result, it didn't match a lot of the approach play.
Paddy O'Malley spots the run of Fionn McDonough. They've been working that kick out for many years now, played underage football here in Westport all the way up through the ranks. They know each other's little signals and calls inside out. Ball lost though by Westport, and Conor O'Shea, who has spared no effort so far, again has his hands on his hunkers, or is down on his hunkers now as well. He's just looking for his second wind. He's working really hard, Conor O'Shea, trying to get Breaffy going out around the middle. James Minogue winds up, and the less said about the shot from James Minogue, maybe the better. Doesn't in fact drop out of play. retrieved back there by Pat Lambert. But that's something, Martin, you don't see from Westport. They've been a lot more economical and efficient than Breaffy.
A lot more economical and not more efficient. The actual end result for them has been much better. Like, in fairness to both teams, they've only shot 2 wides each, and the shooting in general has been very good, but that was very, very wayward. And I've noticed once or twice with Breaffy in the last couple of attacks, they're getting a little bit more careless actually up front.
So the referee, Cormac Reap, is just, I think, checking that everything is in order. I think he may be having a word with one or two members of the Breaffy backroom team, while also checking on the welfare of Garrett Dunn. 29 minutes gone. We're into the 30th minute, the last minute of normal time here in Westport. That's a poor free from the home side. Gave it right into the hands of Conor O'Shea, and that allows Breaffy to break again down along the left hand side. They're 5 points behind, heading towards the break. Shamie O'Shea trying to burrow his way through, nothing doing the first time, so Breaffy will have to come back and try again. Garrett Dunn gets it onto the left foot, but he forces the shot, and that just underlines the point you were making, Martin. It's their third wide, but they've become a little careless in the last few minutes.
A little careless, and they're not able to get Garrett Dunn on the ball, maybe, or Colin Flynn more so on the ball as much as they were earlier on. In fact, they haven't scored a point, I think, since the 21st minute. That fabulous score from Conor O'Shea. So, I mean, you know, certainly something Martin McIntyre would be looking at the half-time break.
Since that score from Conor O'Shea as well, they've conceded 1-2 without reply. And as Martin said, they will be looking now to put a score on the board before the break, just to keep them in touch. Flynn gives it to Darren Moran. Now Shamie O'Shea looking to sell that old classic sidestep dummy. Fadden. That was really well played by Fionn McDonough. Just threw himself across to get a fist to the ball to knock it away. Pádraig Byrne. Breaffy really finding it difficult. If that first phase doesn't work out, that first ball, it gets harder and harder to pick their way through this packed Westport backline. Minogue across to Pádraig Byrne. There's space now on this right hand side. Takes a solo, steadies down, and that's not going to come in. That's away to the right and wide. They're a very well-schooled Westport backline, Martin, aren't they?
Excellent, Martin Connolly. So what you'd expect from a Martin Connolly team. He was such a good defender in his own time. But again, the way they were able to funnel men back that time, just crowd out the space for Breaffy and eventually force that wayward kick.
We're 90 seconds now into stoppage time. We did, of course, have that water break as well. Referee playing the advantage, Kevin Kane. Colin Moran just picked up a bang there as he ran out onto that ball. I don't think there was a whole lot in it, but he is hurt, and we will have a stoppage just to allow treatment to come on. We're in the dying moments of the first half, as it were, but Cormac Reap there doing the right thing. He's going to allow the play to be stopped. That will allow Colin Moran to be treated, and that'll give us a chance, Martin, I suppose, before half time, just to maybe summarise what we've seen so far. You'd have to say it was at the first water break, 5 points apiece. That scoreline spoke for itself, but no doubt who's had the better of the second quarter.
No doubt about who's had the better second quarter. It's obviously Westport, but they are playing with a very strong wind. They're actually a very simple tactic. We've mentioned it a couple of times. Get the ball quickly into Kevin Kane, and his combination with Colin Moran, who's been treated at the moment for that injury. It's been really effective. I think the full-back line, Mark Dervin's under a little bit of pressure at full-back with Breaffy, but overall it has been a game of good quality, some excellent scores, and again, of all this scores, there's only been one from frees.
So good to see Colin Moran is good to go again. Hot ball. Colin Kelly is the man who emerges with the football under his arm. He's been fouled. Free to Breaffy. Chance perhaps for them to finish with a score at the end of this first half. We're into the 34th minute as Breaffy worked their way slowly and surely down the centre. Ball floated in by Paul McDermott. Breaks kindly for Darren Moran. That's Rory Martin. Now Garrett Dunn into the space. He has room to swing that right boot, and over it goes. It's Breaffy's first score since the 21st minute. So it ends 13-minute spell without a score, and it will also bring down the curtain on the opening half here at St Patrick's Park in Westport. Well, there you see the state of play at the half-time break. Westport's 9th goal of their Division 1B league campaign, scored by cornerback Brian McDermott, and it's really the score that has given them some breathing space here as they look to clock up their 3rd win of the campaign and really make things very tight at the top in Division 1B. But at the break here at St Patrick's Park in Westport, it is still very much all to play for. It's Westport who lead Breaffy by 1-8 to 7 points. We'll be back very shortly with a little bit of analysis and the second half as well. And you're very welcome back to St. Patrick's Park in Westport. Half-time breaks seem to be getting quicker and quicker and faster, Martin Carney, as the years go by. I'm not quite sure if that was the old 15 minutes
I don't think so.
We were used to and what we were spoilt with. But the crowd here in Westport absolutely buzzing at half-time. It's almost therapeutic to be watching a club game of this standard, of this quality. And even though we're only at the halfway mark, I think we already now very much know we're watching two teams that are going to have a big say in this year's Mayo Senior Club Championship.
Yeah, you can imagine when the couple of county players come back to both sides, like how much stronger they'll be. But we've had a wonderful half. 16 scorers, 12 different scores, rather 16 scores I should say, 12 different scores, a goal of the highest quality. Both teams with a similar approach, I suppose, in many respects, getting the ball quickly into the full forward line, but it is made for a game of very high quality and most enjoyable.
Well, I notice Westport have made at least one change at half-time, because the very distinctive figure of Mark Moran is out there on the field wearing number 19, and that is good news for Westport supporters, and it is also good news for Mayo supporters as well, because he's an outstanding young footballer. He lit up that National League match last autumn between Mayo and Galway. Unfortunately, has been dogged by injuries this season, and that has really hampered his progress. But he's on for Westport at the beginning of this second half. Just looking around the field to see if anybody else has joined the action. Looks like Martin McIntyre, the Breaffy manager, is happy enough to let the same 15 go again. Just trying to, by process of elimination, tell you who's out of the Westport forward line. Looks like it's Killian Kilkelly who's gone in a straight swap. Here's Mark Moran, just on, first touch, looking for Kevin Kane. And Kevin Kane just slipped at the crucial moment. Pass was probably a little bit too hot for him anyway. There's Alan Kennedy with the follow-up, and his snapshot flies wide. But it takes Mark Moran just a matter of seconds, Martin, to show us what we've been missing. Yeah,
a little bit of kind of, shall we say, a lapse of concentration by Colin Kelly. He needs to be very, very tight to Mark Moran, a fabulous player.
Poor kick out there from Jack Livingston. Just puts Breaffy under pressure again. Calls the defence into action, a defence which has really been overworked for large parts of this game. That's a misdirected hand pass out of defence by Mark Dervin. The Moran brothers, Cullum and Mark, they're working together to get the ball back. Breaffy's Dara Moran a little slow, shall we say, in releasing possession.
Yeah, I'm surprised in one way that took Killian Kilkelly off at half time. He was quite good actually in centre forward, played in some excellent balls to his other forwards. But Martin Connolly seems, I can understand him bringing in Mark Moran, but I didn't think Kilkelly had done much wrong actually to warrant being replaced.
So quick free, Mark Moran to Pat Lambert, back to Mark Moran, and that shot just dragged out to the right and wide. Just a half-time score to give you from the top of the table game in Division 1A. This one has obviously huge implications as well for the final makeup of the Division 1A league table. And at half-time, Gary Moore leading Ballina Stephenites 10 points to 4. So Gary Moore in control on home ground against the Stephenites. 6 points up at the break here in Westport. So far, so good for the home side there. Now 4 points up against the visitors from Breaffy. Oisin Tunney gets up from right corner back. Lays it off as far as James Minogue. He struck that beautifully, right on the sweet spot. And that is now 3 points for the versatile James Minogue. He was used in defence on many big days by Peter Ford and Shane Conway in recent seasons. Martin McIntyre has started him here on the 40, and that last point, his third, Martin Carney, the best of the bunch so far.
Oh, the best of the bunch so far again. Son of just watching here a moment, we'll come back to it in a second. A good attack beginning here
Shane
from
Scott to Mark Moran, buzzing around that Westport forward line. Scott again, just a goal between the teams now, that Brian McDermott goal, as Connor Calvey gets on the ball. Alan Kennedy, he's got room to shoot. Kennedy, and that one fades away to the left. Again, a lot of good movement, a lot of good interplay, but Westport rack up their second wide of the second half.
Yeah, maybe snatch it a little bit. Just going back to James Minyogo, he's the son of Stephen Minyogo, who played with the county in the late 70s and early 80s. A very fine Mitchell's player, actually, as well.
Certainly, James Minogue did not lick it off the grass. 1-8 to 8 points. We're in the 4th minute of the second half. The league leaders in Division 1B, Breaffy, chasing down Westport. But Westport looking comfortable. Fionn McDonough takes the mark, tries to feed it through to the half-forward line, but doesn't stick. Instead, Breaffy have a chance to play here on the break. Paul McDermott being chased by Fionn McDonough, trying to atone for his mistake a few moments ago. Rory Martin under a little bit of pressure. Back to Paul McDermott again. Now he's got a couple of Westport men for company as well. John Grady has come into the Westport team in the last couple of moments. Colm Moran is the player who's been replaced. Martin Calvey and Martin Connolly, they won't want to take too many chances a week out from championship, and Colm Moran did pick up a bang at the end of the first half. So John Grady in, wearing 25, and a chance for him to impress. Here's a Breaffy substitute who's just come on, Conor Carter, as Martin McIntyre starts to run his bench. Shamie O'Shea loses the ball on the way out. Pat Lambert, he's got so much pace. Brother of the wing-back Paul. Now Alan Kennedy, that little dummy bounce to buy himself some time. Kennedy has picked up a bang, and Cormac Reap is going to stop the play here, the referee, to allow Alan Kennedy receive attention. That's why the play was stopped. So this will give everybody a chance to draw their breath. We're 5 minutes into the second half. It's 1-8 to 8 points. We've had just one score since the game restarted. That went Breaffy's way from the boot of James Minogue.
Yeah, just right now I'm not sure why the referee is actually going in to have a word with the umpire. I didn't think there was anything untoward about that tackle, but it's a free in at any rate for Westport, and it's well within the range.
Well, Breaffy have used that stoppage to make another change. Number 20, Michael Hall, is in. A man who won an All-Ireland minor medal with Mayo back in 2013. Another explosive half-back. He's in, along with Conor Carter, as Martin McIntyre just tries to bring a little bit more energy, a little bit more pace into his half-back and half-forward lines. Shamie O'Shea on the ball for Breaffy. Now Conor O'Shea. No way past Mark Moran and Conor Calvey. Conor O'Shea on the ball again. Manages to weave his way through the traffic and drives up towards the Westport 45. Conor Carter, nice ball to James Minogue. Takes a touch, steadies down, and James Minogue really should have knocked over point number 4 for him, and he knows it.
He knows that it was the easiest opportunity he's had so far, and again just stroked it wide at the other side. It gives Breaffy their 4th wide, but that was a promising attack with a disappointing conclusion.
Well, that is certainly one that got away from a Breaffy perspective, as Paddy O'Malley just surveys his options and eventually decides to play it safe. Nice, precise delivery to Pat Lambert, and Westport are on the move. Here's another substitute, number 18.
Ben Doyle.
That's Ben Doyle, who's come into the Westport defence. Ben Doyle, member of the Mayo senior squad in 2021, started the league game against Westmeath a few months ago. Very tight marking cornerback. He's picking up Garrett Dunn at the moment as Niall McManaman feeds that through. Breaks kindly for Brickenden. Now Mark Moran. There's a real buzz when Moran gets on the ball, but that's a superb block by Darren Moran. Falls to Conor Calvey. Side netting. Just got too tight in the end, but credit where it's due. Darren Moran there pulling off a textbook block.
Great block
to deny Mark Moran the shot on goal.
Yeah, but you have to compliment the Breaffy defence in general in the way they're managing to snuff out the space and kind of get in their tackles on Breaffy.
Jack Livingston just cut the cloth to measure there. Didn't leave much room for error. Conor O'Shea again takes a hit. Rides the challenge of Fionn McDonough. He's got Kevin Kane after him, and Kevin Kane with a really good steal, but he's been penalised for fouling Conor O'Shea. That was worth watching. Kane chasing down Conor O'Shea. You knew something was about to happen, and it did.
Excellent tracking back by Kevin Kane that time. Foul Conor probably tackled him from behind, but Conor O'Shea has been very influential for Breaffy throughout the game, and his combination with Shamey actually has provided a great little, shall we say, spectacle for us with their joust against Fionn McDonough and Shane Scott.
Well, both managers are not standing on ceremony. Breaffy have just made another change. Kevin Curry is into their forward line as Colm Flynn tries to compose himself. Just the 1 point so far for the Breaffy free taker. That's a terrific kick right over the black spot from Colm Flynn. Practice makes perfect. Doesn't live too far from the pitch in Breaffy, Colm Flynn. I'm sure he's down there most nights of the week practicing his free taking, and that score from him leaves it 1-8-9. Breaffy back within striking distance again of the home side Westport.
Yeah, it's a beautifully struck free kick again. Started out wide and he came in from about 55 metres out.
So 1-8 plays 9 points. Westport yet to score in this second half. Heading towards 10 minutes now since the game restarted. In fact, Breaffy have hit the last 3 points of the game. They hit one just before the halftime break and 2 since. Kevin Kane racing across to try and get his body in the way. Puts off the defender, and Kane involved again. Thought about the pass, takes on the shot, and Jack Livingston happy to see it drop just short. Kevin Kane, though, has become a real all-action style full forward. Shane Scott picks up the pieces out around the middle. Alan Kennedy gives the return pass to Mark Moran, who just was too casual with his attempted pop pass, intercepted by Oisín Tunney. And here's Michael Hall looking for Garrett Dunn, jumping with Ben Doyle, the Westport substitute. I see a few men on the far side with their hands in the air, signalling a Westport line ball, driven down by Conor Calvey, won back by the Breaffy substitute Conor Carter. Breaffy starting to come more and more into this game now in the third quarter.
Much more composed, Mike, than they were earlier, and again they're defending very well, and Westport are finding it very difficult to get the ball through to Kevin Kane, which has been their regular source of joy, shall we say, in the first half.
Well, you're watching a Breaffy team lining out without Rob Henley, Matty Ruan and Aidan O'Shea, taking on a Westport team who go into battle without Lee Keegan and Owen McLaughlin. But it is compelling viewing. 11 minutes into the second half, Westport leading by 2 points. James Minogue, runners left and right. This is Kevin Curry. Quick hands from Rory Martin, and a misplaced pass by Dylan Cannon. Looked very promising initially from Breaffy, but petered out quite quickly. Niall McManaman captained Westport to an under-21A championship a few years ago. Ball driven forward by John Grady. McManaman continues the run. 2 Breaffy men, you can make that 3 gather round him, and it was Colm Flynn. Just look where the number 14 was, back in his own full back line.
Yeah, that was wonderful tackling though by Robert Fratton, the way he got back that time and snuffed out a potential score. But in the opening 12 minutes of the second half, we've only had 2 scores. Scoring rate has dried up considerably.
It's a very different sort of game in this third quarter. It was easy on the eye in the first half. It was lovely to watch, but as a coach, Martin, as a manager, you'd have been pulling your hair out. It was too open.
It was too open. It's much more attritional in the second half. And again, both teams are struggling to make openings.
Shamey O'Shea uses his power to Conor Carter. Carter looking for the run of Kevin Curry. Kevin was hoping to get that ball much closer to goal. It just spun off the boot of Conor Carter. That's 5 wides for Breaffy. Paddy O'Malley goes short. Breaffy give him, you could say, Luke Tunney there. Now Tunney being closed down by Kevin Curry. Gets it away as far as Shane Scott to Rory Brickenden. Referee is playing an advantage. And none coming. That pass was misplaced by the Westport man. They'll get the free as we take closer and closer to the second water break. We're 13 minutes into this second half. We're watching the two of the top three teams in Division 1B of the Mayo Senior Football League. Breaffy, the table toppers, against third place Westport. And Breaffy still trying to recover the ground they lost in the second quarter.
Yeah, what's the old cliche? Error ridden. It is certainly the error rate, or the number of mistakes increased considerably in the second half. There again is a case in point to pick up off the ground. No pressure whatsoever on Conor O'Shea that time, or not on Conor O'Shea rather, but on Oisín Tunney, and concedes the advantage to Westport.
Well, Westport in Group 3 of the Senior Championship, which begins next weekend. They're in with Ballahadreen, Castlebar Mitchells and Ball. It is very much a group of death, Group 3. Not that Group 4 is a whole lot easier. Breaffy in with Kiltane, Gary Moore and the Neil. Here's Mark Moran cutting through, and Mark Moran gives the crowd what they came to see. Well, once he got on the ball there, you knew something was about to happen. It was a good decoy run made by Kevin Kane to open up the space, and Mark Moran restores the 3-point lead for Westport.
And that's the first score in 20 minutes, Mike, actually. It's been a long time without a score, and again finding it difficult to get through the Breaffy defence.
So Mark Moran, the half-time substitute, ends, as Martin said, a 20-minute barren spell for Westport. Last year's beaten county semi-finalists lost to Breaffy 15 points to 13 in a real battle on a dark, cold evening in McHale Park. But no doubt these teams have some unfinished business with each other, and who knows, they could well meet again in the championship before the season's out. They certainly will expect to be in the mix. Ball recycled here back to Conor Calvey, and that's well away to the right and wide.
Yeah, but it's noticeable, Mike, actually, as the game has gone on, and since he has come in at half time, that Mark Moran is beginning to be a greater influence on the game. Beautiful footballer to watch, great at linking play, and that last point that he got, like the fisted point, was a nice kind of, shall we say, end product for a lot of the good work that he'd done earlier.
So there is the signal for the water break. There's Aidan O'Shea in the centre of your picture. Took part in the Breaffy warm-up beforehand, but doesn't look like he'll see any game time this evening. But even to see Aidan O'Shea togged a week on from the All-Ireland, Martin, well, it speaks volumes. He wanted to be here, he wanted to be part of the squad, and can't be easy for him either, trying to get back on the horse again.
No, I just briefly met him beforehand. It's a testament to the lad's character that he's here at all after the week he has had, I'd imagine. And in fairness to them, the likes of, shall we say, Rory Brickington, Conor O'Shea, lads that were in the substitutes bench last weekend rather. Can't be easy for them talking today, but Conor O'Shea's had a fine game. Shamey, actually, he's been outstanding in so many ways, and Matty Ruan there as well. Again, great to see him here. And Shamey, or Aidan, you can see how forlorn he is, how you can see the disappointment still in his face after what happened last weekend.
Yeah, as Martin said, you'll have caught a glimpse there of Matty Ruan in the Breaffy huddle as well. Their manager this year, Martin McIntyre, comes with a wealth of experience, part of the Mayo senior setup in recent seasons. He's a former Belmullet footballer. He's a very accomplished trainer, physio, manager, coach in his own right, and there's a real buzz around Breaffy, Martin, that Martin McIntyre is going to build on the great work done by Peter Ford and Shane Conway over 5 seasons now, and that Breaffy won't be far away again this season.
They won't be far away, and again, like for the likes of the Shea brothers, for the likes of Robbie Henley, and lads who've been around, like James Minogue, Colin Kelly, guys who've been around the team for years, to actually kind of win a county title would be a fitting kind of conclusion to so much good work that they have put in over the last number of years.
So away we go. Game restarts. Kick out from Jack Livingston. There's a fierce battle for it in the centre of the field. Right now, Westport 1 goal to the good, 3 points in front. That goal scored by Brian McDermott, an absolute scorcher late in the first half. Ball thrown by a Breaffy man, spotted by Cormac Reap.
Yeah, I think Kevin Curry, was the offending party there.
Cormac Reap, one of the best up-and-coming young referees in Mayo, also worked with the Mayo ladies squad in recent seasons in a coaching capacity. a member of the Knockmore Club. So another substitution being made by Breaffy. That's number 22 you saw jogging on there, Joe Mellett. Another of the young players Martin McIntyre is trying to bring through this season as Breaffy try to strengthen their squad, improve their depth and get ready for an assault on Group 4 of the Senior Championship. Paddy O'Malley, the Westport goalkeeper, given some time here to play some ball. Breaffy happy enough to let him take a touch or two. This is Rory Brickenden. Brilliant schools footballer with Rice College. Has graduated to play minor, under 20 and indeed senior football with Mayo as well in recent years. Here he is once more. Breaffy pushing right up on Westport here now, just trying to pen them in. Number 24, Ronan Geraghty, is the man who got on the ball there a moment ago for Westport. He's come into the game as well, just to freshen things up a little. Westport have played quite a bit of football in the last 30 seconds, Martin, inside their own 13-metre line. Not good for the nerves.
Not good for the nerves from a Westport point of view, but great defending, or great pressing by Breaffy.
Rob Fadden there pulling down Fionn McDonough. Westport get the free. Shane Scott to Niall McManaman. Loves to stretch his legs and drive forward, and he can move. What a run from Niall McManaman. Lays it off. Shot taken and saved. It was Declan Shanahan, one of the Westport subs who has come in the last few moments, who got the shot away. Saved by Jack Livingston and Fionn McDonough. Who else getting tight on the Breaffy man, Rob Fadden, to knock that ball out over the line. Fionn McDonough, for a man who's missed a lot of football, Martin, has put in some shift.
But that run actually also from Niall McManaman was marvellous. The way he just sided through the centre of the Breaffy defence, and very good save at the end by Jack Livingston.
10 minutes of normal time to go. This is Conor O'Shea, man ahead of him, roaring for it. Quick hands, chance of a score, and that was Joe Mellett, and that is point number 10 for Breaffy. Well, he came in off the bench a few minutes ago, Joe Mellett, but I think Conor O'Shea rather, has to take quite a bit of the credit there. He linked with Oisín Tunney to Mellett, and two between them again. And
all came as a result of a turnover at the far side of the field, but good pressure being applied all over the field by Breaffy at the moment, and keeping on the coattails of Westport, and only 2 points in it, and Breaffy with a good wind behind them.
Update for you from the big game in Division 1A at the second water break, midway through the second half. Gary Moore leading 11 points to 7. So their lead being reduced over in Gary Moore, but they're still out in front. Here at St Patrick's Park, still the outcome hangs in the balance. Long way to go. Breaffy still chasing hard. Michael Hall. Colm Flynn made what turned out to be a dummy run. Shamie O'Shea curls it and sprays it right over to the far side to the cornerback Dylan Cannon, trying to come in from that right wing, and John Grady has fouled him just in front of Cormac Reap. Free in.
Yeah, an easy decision for Cormac Reap to make, like John Grady that time, a little bit just impetuous, give away free, and I think as a result of it he's going to pick up a yellow card. Anything that's neck high is going to result in a yellow card, and that time Grady has picked it up.
So the Westport substitute goes into the book, and all eyes on the Longford man, Colm Flynn. 2 points he's kicked so far. One from a free, one from play. This is the trickiest free he's hit on an evening when he hasn't had too many chances, and Colm Flynn pots it nicely. And now there is a kick of the ball between the teams. Breaffy have just brought in number 27, Ben Murphy. We saw quite a bit of Ben Murphy in the championship last year. He's a very lively inside forward. So he's in. Westport's lead has been reduced to a single point, and they've only scored once since half-time, Martin.
That's right. And again, I'm just watching the formation that they're coming up with in order to kind of try and get possession from the kick-out.
Fionn McDonough jumping with Jamie O'Shea. Calls the mark, claims the mark, and shows just why he has played so often when he's been fit for Mayo over the last 3 or 4 years. Rory Brickenden hammers up the field from centre back to Kevin Kane. Nice ball down the line to Alan Kennedy out in front. Shane Scott. Breaffy funneling men back inside their own 45, just trying to block up all those avenues of attack, forcing Shane Scott and company to head back out the field again. Breaffy have made it much harder for Westport to put scores on the board in this second half. Lovely ball this time though from Lambert to Kane. This is Fionn McDonough. He can kick off either foot, just got the snapshot away off the right, but again it was under pressure, and I think it last touched the hand of a defender, so it may well turn out to be a 45. I think that's what Cormac Reap might be checking on here with his umpire, because Jack Livingston has the ball in his hand, ready to kick it out again. But again, it's the pressure that Breaffy, or Westport rather, are shooting under, Martin. Yeah, they're shooting under, but that was very good defending by Breaffy, and in fairness, I think there was a hand on the ball when McDonough. No, he's signalling it wide now. I thought myself the umpire was right, but McDonough hasn't been in the game consistently enough for my liking. I'd like to see a little bit more of him. So it goes down as a wide ball. Kick out from Livingston. Goes long. Nothing short. Nothing too obvious from the Breaffy goalkeeper this time. Makes a contest of it. Minogue is furious. He's got his free, but I think he feels it's happening too often for his liking. Yeah, well, Shamie O'Shea will take the free. Yeah, I think the person got a little bit excitable there was Pat Lambert to give away the free. There was no need for it. Shamie O'Shea to Rob Fadden. Fadden, he's trying to wind up, but he just can't get quite enough room to swing that boot. Now Michael Hall using his pace to come around the outside. It's all opened up for him. Still going. Support from Ben Murphy, and the post denies Breaffy an equaliser, but the danger still not cleared from a Westport point of view. Michael Hall trying to smuggle it out. Ball touched on the ground by a Westport man right in front of Cormac Reap. He's happy enough to point out the offender as well, if anybody's in any doubt. But the equaliser is on its way with 5 minutes to go, and the tide has turned here completely. Completely, and Colin Flynn, I think, will probably take this as an easy enough opportunity for him, straight in front of the goal, has been behind him. But the game has got very scrappy in the second half. That's, free-flowing, high-quality game that we saw in the first half has been replaced by a game. Defences are on top, and it's much more attritional. So there is point number 4 of the evening for Colin Flynn, and that now means Breaffy have outscored Westport in this second half by 5 points to 1. The pendulum has swung very definitely in the visitors' favour, and with 4.5 minutes of normal time to play, it's now Westport who are under the cosh. Yeah, and I think if you're doing the sums on it, is Westport have only scored 1 point in a half an hour's football, and they've had some very good approach play but very poor finishing. Again, Breaffy apply the press. Paddy O'Malley does well to pick out Paul Lambert, and Breaffy forcing Westport to think their way out of defence, to work their way out of defence. That was really well done by Joe Mellett, but there was a push on the ball carrier. But it's obviously something Breaffy have worked hard on in training, that full court press. Now Westport do get out though. Long delivery to Mark Moran. Clipped inside by Grady. Mark Moran again. Nice sidestep. Chips it in off the left. John Grady. Chance. Stopped by Livingston. With the shot from Declan Shanahan, it was that stung his palms. That was Alan Kennedy. His effort blocked by Oisín Tunney. So Breaffy doing whatever it takes to keep Westport out, and in the end there's a foul, and Westport will get a free in for that foul on Declan Shanahan. He was, or Ronan Geraghty rather, he was the man that took the shot a few moments ago. So plenty of goal-mouth action, but no score for Westport crucially. No, they'll be disappointed with that. Great save by Jack Livingston and a great block then by Oisín Tunney. Eventually Breaffy conceded the free. It's from a difficult angle, but that was a very promising attack that actually should have resulted in a score. So Alan Kennedy to kick the free. It's a very, very tight angle. This to put Westport back in front, and the home side like it, and the umpires like it, and Alan Kennedy has kicked a superb score to leave it Westport 110, Breaffy 12 points. It's only Westport's second point of the second half. It's only their second point in a little over a half an hour's football, in fact. But it's enough to edge them ahead again. Livingston looking for Shamie O'Shea, spills out of his hands, and the break picked up by Fionn McDonough. We're in the 28th minute of this second half. McDonough down the line towards Kennedy. Oisín Tunney is his shadow, and Oisín Tunney comes away with the ball. You could see his jersey being tugged. Referee is playing an advantage. There was none coming, so he'll bring it back for the free to Breaffy. 2 minutes to go. Westport somehow have manoeuvred themselves a point in front again, Martin.
Yeah, and the issue really, like, if they can get Mark Morden more on the ball, like, he hasn't been in the game enough from my point, from my liking from a Westport point of view. But when he gets the ball, he has great ability to spot players in better positions than him.
Conor Carter under pressure. That was Pat Lambert who put on the pressure, and Pat Lambert who has won the free for Westport, and that was very clever play by the young Westport number 10.
Yeah, excellent play by the Westport number 10, Pat Lambert, that time. But again, poor defending from Breaffy point of view. I'd say Martin McIntyre will be flittering about that, because that was a situation that was eminently defendable, and just getting put under pressure, panicked, and an opportunity now for Westport.
So a yellow card for the Breaffy defender, and a chance for Alan Kennedy to top up the Westport advantage. We're taking closer and closer to the 30-minute mark, and Westport getting closer and closer to their third win of this Division 1B league campaign. Alan Kennedy gets right underneath that free, and that will drop away to the right and wide. It was an unusual approach from Alan Kennedy, wide number 7, and not quite sure, Martin, why he put so much welly behind it, but it's a chance that's got away.
Well, kicking into a wind like that, you needed to keep a low trajectory on the ball. Put it very high. Wind took it away out of
Seamie O'Shea bottled up. He's won the free. I think very few people expected Seamie O'Shea to be still going strong after an hour's football here in Westport, but credit to him. He has managed to find his second wind and still going strong. He will be a big player for Breaffy when their championship kicks off next weekend, and his hard work hands Colin Flynn the chance to maybe, just maybe, deliver another equaliser, but he's a long way out, Martin.
A long way out, 60 metres out, but Seamie O'Shea has been outstanding for Westport, or for Breaffy today rather. Again, his work rate, his tackling, his ability to win awkward ball is a huge asset to Breaffy.
Colin Flynn, he's about 65 yards out, but didn't make the cleanest of contact. Drops around the penalty spot and away by Fionn McDonough down towards Mark Moran. There was a little trip, just a little nudge. Moran wins the free, takes it himself. Another of the Westport substitutes who's come in is Brian Mullen, wearing 21. Their subs have come in on both sides fairly thick and fast over the course of the second half. That's quick hands by Declan Shanahan. Still going, cuts through, blocked by Livingston, and rolls very close to the Breaffy goal line before it's acrobatically kept out by Conor Carter, one of the Breaffy second half substitutes. Well, it looked for a moment there like Westport were in for a goal, which would have made this game safe, but somehow Breaffy managed to keep them out.
Managed to keep it out. Maybe it's appropriate that Conor Carter made the tackle that time, or made the, shall we say, the goal line interception, because it was his foul a couple of moments ago that gave Alan Kennedy a good opportunity for a free. But that's good defending again, not for the first time today from Breaffy.
So we're into injury time at the end of this game, this Mayo Senior League Division 1B game. Ball taken in his stride there by Conor O'Shea. Breaffy hunting an equaliser. An equaliser that would preserve their unbeaten record in Division 1B and send them into the championship next weekend with a bit of a spring in their step, but they've lost possession. Rob Fadden it was there who just lost his footing and lost his balance, and taken away by the Westport goal scorer Brian McDermott. How crucial his goal has turned out to be. Here he is again to Declan Shanahan. McDonough, who was booked a few moments ago, hurdles the challenge. They're looking for a score here to finish this off. That's Ronan Geraghty off balance. It drops Gary Owen style, caught by Jack Livingston. And the Breaffy goalkeeper, who is deputising in recent weeks for Rob Henley, wins the ball and wins his free. But time is of the essence for Breaffy now. Surely couldn't be too much longer left. Just to tell you, by the way, in the top of the table game in Division 1A, all change utterly. The Stephenites now lead Gary Moore 12 points to 11. Gary Moore absolutely cruising at half time, but they've obviously lost their way in the second half. here in Westport. It is the home side who are setting the pace at half-time, who still lead, but they're sitting on a very, very slender margin now. Dara Moran, runners break. One of them is Colm Flynn. The right man has it from a Breaffy point of view. Now Michael Hall. The shooters are getting into position. Conor O'Shea. Westport have brought 13 men back, trying to block it up, make life difficult for Breaffy. Michael Hall being chased by Mark Moran, and all the while Breaffy heading further and further away from the Westport goal. Mark Dervin to Conor O'Shea. Is there to be one last chance for Breaffy to work an equaliser? Conor O'Shea is going to take it on. O'Shea shoots, and Conor O'Shea has scored. Well, you can't say they didn't deserve it. They've put in a huge second half performance, and Conor O'Shea, who has worked himself into the ground since the very start, delivers the equaliser in the 34th minute.
Oh, it's a beautiful score that. Again, it's a great reward for Conor O'Shea for the hard work he's put in throughout the game, but also for a great play, a period, a bout rather, of Breaffy patient play.
So the teams level deep in injury time here at St. Patrick's Park. It's been a really good game of football. It is certainly, it has whet the appetite ahead of the start of the club championship next weekend. Westport, they'll be in action here again at St. Patrick's Park when Ballahadreen come to visit. Breaffy, they begin their club championship campaign at home to the Neil. Both of those games taking place next Sunday. Perhaps we'll have a winner. Cormac Reap, the referee, lets the game continue. We're heading now towards the 6th minute of additional time as James Minogue is forced back into his own half. Could Breaffy perhaps conjure up one more scoring chance, or can Westport get the ball back? Breaffy once again guard possession. Michael Hall, that's loose. It's a 50-50 ball, and it's been intercepted by Pat Lambert. Nothing but open road in front of him. Lambert going strong. Conor O'Shea comes across. Dara Moran as well. Ball breaks free, and Breaffy have somehow survived, and there goes the full-time whistle. What a dramatic finish to this game at St. Patrick's Park. It looked for a moment like Pat Lambert was going to be the hero as he broke away and bore down on the Breaffy goal, but Conor O'Shea and Dara Moran got back in the nick of time to put a stop to his gallop, and it ends in a draw. Breaffy, well, they consolidate their position at the top of Division 1B, unbeaten after 5 rounds, 4 wins and a draw, while Westport, they conclude their Division 1B campaign with 2 wins, 2 draws and a defeat. So everybody, Martin Kearney, leaves with a little something a week out from championship.
Very much so, and again a very enjoyable game of football. Very, very high quality first half, it must be said, but again a fitting conclusion to the game that it was a draw, and again a wonderful little cameo at the end between Pat Lambert and actually Dara Moran. A wonderful tackle, well executed tackle, no foul conceded. Lambert probably was sold short a little bit by the fact that there was no support up for him.
Well, that's it from Martin Kearney and myself here on Mayo GA TV this evening. It's been a really enjoyable game, and it has finished in a draw. Final scoreline here in the Mayo Senior League Division 1B. It has finished Westport 110, Breaffy 13 points.